Morning, welcome. We're at Camping World of Knoxville, out on the Airport Motor Mile in Louisville, Tennessee. And we're going to talk to you this morning about our 2013 Heartland Wilderness. We're going to start on the outside and we're going to work with you with a few segments. This will be done in a couple segments and give you a full flavor of what the Heartland Wilderness product offering is. Starting on the outside, major changes this year, as you can see, is our colored fiberglass. We went to, it's actually not fiberglass, which is, I'm glad I said the word fiberglass. It's actually Azdel. If you look over here, our products have a sticker on it. Everything says Azdel on board. Now what Azdel is, and this is the important part, it's no longer a fiberglass sidewall. I have no Luan backing in this because it is a more rigid piece of material, composite. It is actually a plastic that's thermoformed. We use long fibers to reinforce it, so it makes it very, very rigid. Pound for pound, it's actually just as strong as steel. So we've improved and we've removed the Luan backing to support the sidewall structure. Now what's important about this is that I have an 80% less chance of delamination. Nobody likes big ugly bubbles in the side that cause mold. So we've reduced that for you this year. Don't buy anything without Azdel. Azdel is huge. So if you're not looking for wood in your sidewall, get a fiberglass exterior. You're going to want to get Azdel. The other big things that we did on the exterior, as you can see, we have matching black. Everything is black. All of our framework, all of our vent covers, all of our skirting, we went to black. What the black's going to do for you is actually give you a better exterior. It's going to look cleaner. It's going to keep the mold off. And it's just going to give a better appearance and going to be easier to maintain for the long haul. If we come around, we're going to look at our suspension. This is our next big thing on the exterior. Wide track suspension. Now what's so great about wide tracks? Why do we spread our axles? Well, first and foremost, and I'm going to grab a volunteer, Gail, come on over here. Go ahead and push me from my side. My feet are together. No, push me right here. Okay? You didn't have to put much force, right? Now I'm going to spread my axles like wide tracks. Go ahead. Now do it again. Do it as hard as you can. Keep pushing. Okay. Now I have my wide track suspension. When you're hooked up to your truck, you're going to be here. You're going to have front to back. Now if you spread that out, you're going to take your porpoising out and you're going to take that herky-jerkiness off your bumper. So you're going to put distance between your support on the back end. Now when you come over here, we have our tire removed so we can show you the way we mount our suspension. Not only do you have isolators over here, but as one of my sales reps pointed out earlier, you actually have a tubular steel beam that's welded to your I-frame. So that makes it much, much more stable. It's going to last a lot longer, and it's not going to give you any weak point into where your suspension is mounted. The last thing you want is something that's weak. Use a reference of like being on ice skates. You have that side-to-side possibility. Well here, you're mounted square. You're on a square tube, so you're going to be much more rigid. The other thing we do while we're down here is all of our components are made by Lippert. So what you'll have is you'll have an E-coated frame rail. E-coating takes out a lot of the risk and possibility of rust. So we actually take these, we have an electronic charge that goes through the steel. Then they're painted over top of that so you have an extra layer. Our axles are all powder coated. Powder coating, again, reduces the amount of rust that's going to be a possibility. Not all manufacturers are doing that. When you come over here, you have an aluminum wheel. This is an upgrade that is extremely important on our Wilderness. What aluminum wheels do much better than steel wheels is dissipate heat. So not only do they look better, they actually have a function. They dissipate heat a lot better than steel wheels. Steel actually absorbs heat. You don't wrap your baked potato in steel, do you? You wrap it in aluminum foil. Aluminum foil, once you take it out and it's still hot, you can touch. It's going to be hot on the inside, but that foil is going to keep your hand from getting burnt. It's the same premise here on your axle. So when you're towing for 400 miles, you have a lot less risk of fire or damage to your internal components because that's staying much cooler. Moving on to the outside on your wheels, one last little bit. Remove my desk cover right here. And you'll notice this is an easy lube axle. You have a greaser in here. All it takes is 3 pumps. You're lubricated yourself. You roll it. You're good to go. And you're not paying $114 an hour times 5 hours to have your bearings packed. So we're saving you tons of money right here. Not only is that important, a money saving, it's important for safety. Now, if anybody knows, or anybody ever experienced not having their bearings packed, it greatly increases the chance of a fire on your road wheel. Without the proper lubrication, they get intensely hot, which then can cause fire. Most manufacturers, as you can see here, even with my manufacturer, you have a lot of appliances. Now, what these appliances all run off of is propane gas. Propane gas is highly flammable. Now, it's safe in my trailer because my bearings are going to be lubricated. It's easy to lubricate them, so you run a lot less risk of this road wheel seizing up, catching fire, getting to your appliances, and causing a big problem. So we've taken the extra precaution. It's saving you money, and it's much safer for your family. We're going to keep going around the outside of this trailer. We could actually spend a lot of time because we've given you a ton of value in this lightweight product. But we're going to go over most of the basics. I want to start up front in our storage area here. As you can see, it's passed through, goes all the way through. It's illuminated. We have a light actually on each side, not only on this side but also on that side. So if you come in either side, you can actually light that up so you can see what it is you're coming out here to get. More importantly, our baggage doors here, if you look, there's no screws exposed on the outside. So when this closes, you actually can't see anything where water can get into or rust or cause an issue. The other thing that we use is an automotive bulb seal. As you can see right here, this is an automotive bulb seal. So when that actually comes down and compresses against that, it creates a seal to keep moisture out. That's huge. People put a lot of things in here and they don't think about it. Oh, that's my outside stuff, or whatever the case may be. But a lot of that stuff is steel. Your sway bars, those things that you're going to put in there and keep in there for 6-7 months at a time. Your tools, your camping chairs, anything that has steel on it. You're going to want to keep moisture out of there. Because after 6 months of being in storage, or 3 months, if there's moisture getting in there, what's going to happen? It's going to rust. It's going to cause those things to go bad. You're going to be cleaning them. They're going to be getting rust onto your linoleum. It's not a pretty thing. So we want to keep moisture out. We want to keep your items protected. And more importantly, we want to keep your trailer protected, because moisture is the #1 killer of RVs. So you got your automotive bulb seal and no screws on the outside. It's an upgrade. And again, it's tinted in the black, so it's going to stay cleaner longer. All our scissor jacks are mounted, again, just like our axles, they're mounted to a piece of tubular steel. So they're not going to snap right off. All right, they're actually mounted to tubular steel instead of the I-beam. The I-beam, then the tubular steel is then welded to the I-beam. So they're much stronger than all of our competitors. We come around here. I want you to notice this is a 2-door entry. 2-door entry with both doors having 3 steps. Not all manufacturers will put 3 steps on both doors. A lot of times they'll skip out on your bedroom door and only put 2 steps. We got access to the bedroom on the floor plan and in the front. We come around here, this is a big, big biggie. We got an electric awning. Electric awning with the switch on the inside versus on the outside. So the electronics are all protected. Also, if it's raining outside, you don't have to go outside and get wet to put your awning in. Electric awning is a big improvement, and this is also the type of awning that will pitch and will dump the water if need be. But I do recommend, if there's a good storm outside or a lot of water at once, always put your awning in. No matter what the manufacturers tell you, no matter what they say it can do, always put your awning in if there's a big storm outside. You come over here, we've mounted our black tank flush right here, make it real easy and clean. You have a black tank flush, you plug in your freshwater hose, and that actually rinses out your black tank as you're dumping. People don't realize only about 80% or so actually dumps out from gravity, which is what you use to remove your waste from your black tank. The other 20% stays inside, and what happens over time is it dries. It dries, and it causes blockages and smells and all the yuck, nasty stuff that we don't like. So what we've done is we put on a black tank flush that actually rinses the black tank out from the inside and pushes the waste out. You don't want to drag a hose into your trailer, drag mud, dirt, and everything else in water inside your trailer and spray it out from the inside. Can you do that? You can, but it's messy, it's nasty. We prefer just to go ahead and put a black tank flush right over here so you can do it from the outside. Moving forward, you notice we have marine grade speakers, and they're also black to match on the outside. The built-in stereo system will actually pump the music out so you can jam on your patio. You have GFI protected outlet on the outside, so you can plug in TVs, small appliances, electronics, but it's GFI protected, so we're not going to surge out whatever it is that you're plugging in out here. It's going to be a protected outlet. Moving on to your hot water heater, we've upgraded. It's a gas and electric hot water heater. And if you look, zoom in over here, I want you to see this because this is important. You really need to look for this sticker. A lot of people are putting false information about hot water heaters out these days. This sticker right here will actually tell you the actual recovery rates. This is a 17.8 gallon per hour hot water heater. So as you can see, it's 6.2 on electric, 11.6 on gas, which totals 17.8 gallons per hour. So in 1 hour's time, it will actually produce 17.8 gallons of hot water out of a 6-gallon hot water heater. But also what's important is going to be your BTUs. Your BTUs per hour is what gets you that. This is an actual 8,800 BTU hot water heater. So you want to get the facts. Just because someone's telling you they've got this water heater or that water heater, you want to open this panel up, look inside, see what the BTUs are, look for this Atwood sticker that actually tells you the actual recovery rates. That's going to be very important when you're comparing trailers. This is a huge money saver. Gas and electric. People don't realize when you're in a campsite, you only pay one fee for electricity. It comes with your nightly rate. You pay unlimited money for propane gas. So you're going to pay every time you go to fill that up. So if you're in a campground, plug in, use your electric hot water heater, and save yourself the money. Big money saver right there. Coming over to our door, not only have grab handles on both doors, we've also, on this door, inserted a strut. So as you can see up there, we have a 90-degree strut, so there's no fooling around with a door holder that can break, that gets dried out and can crack. So it is a 90-degree strut. The other big thing on our doors is they're rounded. Okay, we rounded our corners on our doors. That gives it a better seal when it comes in. It makes it more square, and it reduces the amount risk of leaking. The other big thing, if you look over both of our doors, not just one of our doors, but both of our doors, is going to be right here. Right here, it's rounded out. This is an add-on here, and it's screwed in. And what it is a drip rail. Okay? So if water comes down here, before it goes into your door or on your head when you open the door, it's actually going to drip down and come down the sides versus coming straight over top. And we did it on both doors. LP fitting access, we've pre-plumbed this in our propane. So right down here have a quick connect. You can add a quick connect at any time. It's easy access to your propane. So if you wanted at any time to add a grill or even a pop-up grill or a fire pit that runs off your propane, you can plug it in right in here and you have your propane. So you're not carrying extra with you. Coming around to the back, I want you to take a look at our tubular bumper. This is 4-inch by 4-inch steel. Okay, a lot of people say, oh, that's great, I can put my sewer hose in, which you can. But more importantly, you don't have to have 4-inch by 4-inch steel to put in a sewer hose. You can do that anywhere. But what we use steel for is much, much stronger. So your weight capacity is much bigger. Okay? You can hold a ton of weight on this back bumper, and it's going to be very, very stable. I'm a big guy, and it held me up. More importantly, it's how it's mounted. when you come up underneath here, this is also tubular steel. And you want to make sure that's what you're getting. Tubular steel, and it's welded directly to your frame rails. Now what that's going to do is that's going to make this a whole lot stronger on the back end. If you notice, most people mount their spare tire on the back. Well, what happens over time with that weight being on your bumper is going up and down the road, you get this effect. And what happens is that thin piece of steel that's mounted and the thin piece of steel that's mounted down there is just like a paper clip or a wire hanger. If you ever bend it enough, what happens? It gets hot and then it snaps. So you run the good possibility of losing your spare tire or maybe even losing your whole bumper. Well, I can guarantee you that's not going to happen on our trailer. I want you to get a good look at our curved roof. And we'll take a better look from up top here in a little bit. But if you look up top, that big crown not only gives you extra height on the inside, but it's going to not allow moisture to settle on top of your roof. If you have a flat roof or a slightly pitched roof, you have more likelihood of getting water settling on top. When water settles, it's going to find the easiest place to get inside your roof and cause damage. So if that is pitched as much as it is over here, it's going to run. It's got no place to go. It's going to go off the side. So you run a lot less likelihood of getting water into your roof. All right, coming to the other side of the trailer, we've got a few other big things that we wanted to show you. All of our connections are located in one easy spot. We use a marine grade 30 amp cable and receptacle that plugs in here. As you notice, a lot of manufacturers will put in a little box and they'll go ahead and shimmy your cable inside there, which creates an opening from the outside world to the inside of your trailer. An opening that mice can get into, that ants can get into, other kinds of creepy crawlies can all get right inside. And it ruins really the insulation factor by cutting another hole into the side of your trailer. So much easier and safer. Marine style, locks into place, screws into place. You can take that out, you can put it over into your inside, lock it away, so if it's in storage, you don't have to worry about your cable being stolen either, which tends to be the problem a lot of times in campgrounds when they're stored. You have an outside shower right over here. So rinse off real easy, rinse your hands off after you're dumping your tanks. It's mounted right by your tanks, not in the back of it, so that way when you're dumping your trailer out, you can rinse things off in case there's a mess. Your city water connection's right over here, and also your cable end's right over here. So everything's going to one spot. You're not going all over the trailer to plug things in when you get to the campground. That's going to make your setup a lot faster, so you can enjoy camping and not setting up. This is a huge thing. Now I want you to come down here with me, okay, and look. Enclosed underbellies. Not all are created equal. The big thing with enclosed underbellies is most of them don't enclose your knife valves. Your knife valves are the valve that opens and closes your tank. Okay? Those are the most vulnerable pieces, and if they're not enclosed, they're going to break. Then you're going to have a whole lot of problem with a full tank come springtime when it thaws out and you go to dump these. It'll already be dumped. It'll be everywhere. So, and it's going to be hard to get in there to replace them, and it's going to be expensive, and those type of things are not covered by your warranty. So we've enclosed all the way, including your knife valve. It's completely enclosed underneath, and there's forced air heat to the inside to keep all those things protected. The other thing the enclosed underbelly does is protects you from road debris coming up and damaging anything underneath, which is huge. A tire piece, road debris, somebody's bumper could come up here and completely take out electrical wiring. It could take out your plumbing. It could take out your tanks. So that's all protected. The other thing it does is it creates an aerodynamic environment underneath the trailer, which gives you better fuel economy. Coming over to our slide outs. Our slide outs are unique. One of the big things on our slide outs is that they don't go into your frame rails. So we have a nice deep slide out that doesn't go into your frame rail. We use a high tensile steel cable that doesn't stretch. Okay, it's the same type of cables they use on elevators. They do not stretch. Okay, and the important thing about it is this slide is actually going to go in to your slide room, create a seal. We have triple seals, and we didn't have to cut a hole in your frame rail, ruin the integrity of the frame rail, ruin the whole purpose for enclosing the underbelly. We don't have critters that are going to crawl into the holes in your frame rails and chew your wiring. So it's much better overall. The other thing we've done on our slide out is underneath this is a laminated floor in your slide outs. A lot of manufacturers, believe it or not, you're just going to have OSB wood underneath here that's spray painted black. We've used an actual moisture resistant barrier. It's almost like a rhino-lined piece of wood. So really, really strong and moisture resistant. And you see how flush it is? While you're down here, I want you to look at this seal. This extra seal goes the whole length of the slide out. And what that does is you see where your wheels are. If there's water kicking up or mud or anything like that, that's going to protect the bottom of your slide out from any of that moisture or any of that debris coming up into here. The other thing I wanted to point out is as you look down this frame rail is our trusses that go out to provide extra stability and support. We have steel, extra steel mounted to the frame rails all the way down the sides because that's where your weight is. So it's going to be more rigid, it's going to tow better, and it's going to hold together longer. But going back to our seals, this is a big thing. We use a flange style seal. If you notice the big flange on the outside, and we have automotive bulb seal here, which the flange compresses to give your third layer of sealing. The other layers, you have one on the inside, and you have a wiper here, and a wiper on the inside as well. So you have two wipers, an inside seal, and an outside seal, all in here. You notice also we have the tinted color on your slide out boxes, not just on the outside, so it all matches. And we have windows in each side of the slide out. It makes it nice and open on the inside. Speaking of the inside, I think it's probably a good time for us to go in there and see what all our features are on the inside of this trailer.